Hey everybody, hope everyone out there is doing good. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and thanks for those of you that'll end up catching the replay. What we're going to talk about today is how to spot a scammer or fraudulent coach and how to protect yourself, right? So unfortunately, this topic is very near and dear to my heart. So quick introduction on me. I'm Brian Kurian. I'm one of the owners and administrators for this Facebook group, Entrepreneurs Element. Excited to have you here. I've actually, me personally, I have over 18 years of sales experience. Done a lot with business coaching, consulting, even done some copywriting coaching. And while I've been doing a lot of my sales jobs for corporate and for 7 different startup companies over my career, I've gotten very heavy into copywriting and ghostwriting over these last 5 years or so. And it's something that I'm very passionate about as well. So a lot of stuff I've done over my career. I'm very versatile and dynamic, and I think I have a pretty interesting background because I haven't just done sales or just copywriting or just ghostwriting. I've kind of done it all and learned what I do well and how I can serve my clients. I've officially had my business, Brian Korean's Business Services, for a little over a year now. We I launched the business last January, January 16th, 2024. So the reason why I want to talk about this this specific topic of how to spot a scammer or a fraudulent coach is because many of my former clients, current clients, and unfortunately some of my future clients, they a lot of them have complained about or brought up to me that they've worked with a business mentor in the past or a quote unquote copywriter or ghostwriter, marketing professional, consultant, what have you, who unfortunately wasn't able to really deliver on a lot of the promises that they had made. Many of my clients have spent, whether it was a few $100, some of them have spent a few thousand or several thousands of dollars and not really gotten much in return for it, and very much felt deceived or lied to, and definitely felt like they got taken advantage of, right? So I just kept hearing it over and over again, and I want to try to do my part in more of a scalable way to help a lot of you out there from having that same experience. Some of you may have had that experience, but at the very least, trying to prevent you from having that type of experience again, right? And doing my part to hopefully help you all protect yourself. So, with that being said, what we're going to cover in today's live training is some of the red flags that you should be looking out for if you're in fact looking for a business mentor, or whenever you come to the point of wanting to work with a consultant or a marketing professional, or you're looking to try to get some services provided for your business, and trying to figure out who to partner with, who to collaborate with, who to hire, etc. Because there's going to be needs like that are going to pop up in your business for sure at some point. At least that's the goal, right? So red flag number one: if you're talking to someone as you're vetting them and interviewing them, if they make a lot of over promises, right, and unrealistic guarantees. What do I mean by that? Coaches or consultants or professionals who claim they can guarantee almost instant success, right? Wealth or extreme kind of outlier type of results in a very short amount of time. From my experience, whenever I hear people that I'm looking to potentially work with or hire or what have you, they mention anything about a sort of hack or get rich quick type of strategy, or they're going to guarantee me 6-figure income or this or that. When I hear stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, I have to be skeptical about stuff like that, because in my experience, whenever I've tried to do things in my career or in my business, nothing is overnight, right? It's taken me, again, I've been in sales for over 18 years, closer to 20 years. I've done ghostwriting for these last handful of years, and copywriting. I've done copywriting coaching. I've done business coaching, business consulting. These are a lot of the things that I offer my own clients in my business, as well as my other business that I have, Clinical Strategies. Nothing's overnight, right? The different blueprints and strategies and different things that we lay out for clients, a lot of them take, at least, depending on the client's goals, several weeks, if not several months. Especially the longer term engagements, like the retainer things that we do, whether it's email marketing or helping the client build their online brand and personal brand. A lot of that stuff I do in phases, right? Month 1 and 2 might be phase one. Month 3 and 4 might be phase two. Phase three might be month 5 and 6, etc. Because I can't just flip a switch and make magic happen. It's just not realistic. This type of behavior is a red flag, because successful business, like I mentioned, that type of growth takes time, it takes effort, it takes consistency, and showing up again and again and again. There are no shortcuts, and if there are, I'm not aware of them, so feel free to go out there and see for yourself. But yeah, everybody wants an instant fix, and a lot of times, people do overpromise and underdeliver, and they're happy to charge you for it. So be wary of this. How you can protect yourself is if you just practice always researching those types of success stories that this person is promising you. I would absolutely ask for video testimonials or written reviews, um, testimonials, etc., case studies if they have them, where you can actually see, okay, this human being helped these people. Here's the before picture of what that client, what their business, what their life looked like. Here's the after. Here's the after picture of, what this coach or consultant or what have you helped them, achieve based on some of the work that they did. So very important to ask for this stuff. And if they can't give you really any references of real clients, former or current, that you can speak to, actual case studies, actual testimonials, actual reviews, actual video testimonials, any of that stuff, why can't they? Right? So that brings me to my next red flag: a lack of transparency and proof of experience. Coaches or consultants or mentors, what have you, business professionals who are very vague about their credentials, their experience, or how they've actually helped others, if they talk in a lot of generalities, right, and not specific things that they do for specific individuals, and it kind of seems like what they do is basically throw spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks, that's not the type of person you should be working with. It's absolutely not the type of person you should be paying. It's one thing to allow them to do free work for you and use you almost to try to gain a case study, gain experience, improve their skill set, etc. That's a whole different conversation, and that's, in my opinion, that's totally fine, because you have nothing to lose besides a little bit of time in working with them and training them and communicating with them, and they can help you, in the long run as well, potentially. On top of that, if they absolutely if they refuse to provide clear examples of former clients or former client success stories that they have that are actually documented that they can share with you, or at the very least they should have something or some recent memories that they can very quickly and easily articulate. They should always have some, I know I do, they should always have some stories in their back pocket ready to pull out and show you, right? If you ask me for one example of an email marketing campaign that I did, boom, I can think of one. I can think of one that we're doing right now, right? And I can tell you the person's name, their business. Hey, here's where they were at before. They didn't even have an email marketing platform they were using or a tool. They have 40,000 something email list subscribers that they've compiled over the last 15 years that they've had their restaurant. Here's the tool I found for them. Here's one example of an email I wrote for them. Here you go. Here's the Google Doc so you can see it for yourself. Here's the person's name. She's one of the co-owners there. She owns it with her husband. Here's her husband's name. Here's their email address. You can reach out to them yourself and see what their experience has been like working with me, right, et cetera, et cetera. I can very quickly point this out, and I'm happy to share that stuff. I'm happy to share those types of things with anyone that asks if it's relative or relevant to the conversation. I have nothing to hide, right? So that type of refusal to share past client success stories or, again, specific details, huge red flag. Any marketing or business professional or any coach, mentor, that's out there, if they're legitimate, they should have a proven track record of success, and they should feel absolutely confident in openly sharing some of those experiences and results. If they don't, something is going on. Something is absolutely wrong here. So again, as far as protecting yourself, you can do that by asking for specific details about their work, asking for some sort of social proof, whether it's client testimonials in the written form or video form, case studies, a portfolio, examples of their work, things that are actually documented. Red flag number 3. I can't stand this one. Again, I come from a sales background, so I used to see this all the time with different managers that tried to coach me and pressure me to perform like this, or different coworkers I had or colleagues that would do this type of stuff. High pressure sales tactics. Here's what to look out for. Scammers or fraudulent coaches are people that are just in it for the money and can't really back up what they're saying. They just talk a good talk but can't walk the walk. They often use very urgent language, right? Pushing you to make a decision right on the spot. They don't want you to think it over. They don't want you to hang up the phone without signing up. You absolutely need to pull out your credit card and sign up for this right now, or else I'm not going to work with you, right? Phrases like this offer expires today, or this offer is only good for, as long as this consultation lasts, which is 5 more minutes until I go to my next call. Um, you have to act now, or you're going to miss out on this promo, or I'm not gonna take you on as a client. I'm gonna be all booked up, or whatever. Huge red flag because again, any legitimate coach, mentor, marketing, business professional, consultant, they should never feel a need to pressure you into making a decision quickly, because at the end of the day, it's your decision. You might not be the best fit for them either, right? If this problem that you're trying to solve in your life or your business isn't really that big of a deal, or it's not that urgent, I'm sorry, but I don't I don't want to invest a bunch of my time and my energy and my effort, my mental capacity, emotional capacity, etc., into working with someone like that probably won't listen to much of the advice and the things that I'm going to ask them to do. That's not really going to be worth my time either. And I don't want to waste my time, because if that person's not going to be very serious about this and taking this, seriously and making this a priority, the more work I do for this person, the less work and time I'm going to be able to spend with this person who might be extremely serious and committed to doing the work that I'm asking them to do, because it's a lot more urgent for them and necessary that they solve this problem or this pain point or this challenge in their business, right? So I don't want to take time out of my day to work with someone who's really not that committed. So if it's not that big of a deal for them, then why should it be that big of a deal for me, right? That's my mentality. And I can't force anyone to take this issue seriously. I can do the best I can to highlight how this is affecting you, why it's an issue, why it's important that we solve it, etc. But I never try to pressure someone into working with me, right? Again, it's just as much of a investment on my part to work with a client as it is for them to work with me. So I want to make sure it's a really good, fit all the way around. Not just a good fit for me or just a good fit for them. I want to make sure we're a good match for each other. So how to protect yourself is, don't feel rushed. Don't let them rush you. Take your time. If you have questions, I always do, make sure you ask them, right? Ask them confidently, ask them boldly. Make sure you get some legitimate answers. No vague speak, no talking in generalities. Real, tangible answers that point to how this person can solve this problem that I have. Make sure it feels like it's the right fit for you. Okay, again, that's huge. Red flag number 4, unclear or high cost payment models. Here's what you should look out for. Coaches and consultants, marketing professionals, business professionals, who only ask for, and it seems like that's the only way they operate, if they're just asking for large sums of money up front, right? If there's not a lot of flexibility there, there's no payment plans, there's no customized payment models or anything like that, pressuring you again to pay for these long-term programs without even a clear breakdown of what you're getting. If there's no real agreement that they can put together for you, no contract, no guarantees of success, or even, hey, if you do everything I'm asking you to do and this still doesn't work out for you, I will give you a partial refund or a 10% refund, or I'll give you all your money back, if we've done this for a month, 2, 3, 6 months, etc. Some clear deliverables outlined. If there's ambiguous payment structures, right, stuff like that, huge red flag, because again, any legitimate business professional should have an easy way to articulate a clear pricing model with a well-defined service offerings or product offerings, and be very transparent with the payment plans. There's no reason why you should only have the option to pay a bunch of money up front without any real proof or tangible way to know for sure that this is going to be a good fit for me. You can protect yourself by always asking for a breakdown of what is actually included in that price. Make sure you always have a written contract with me, especially if it's going to be a long-term retainer type of thing or a longer-term engagement. I always want to have an agreement in place. I want to have that document in place so that everybody knows what they're doing for each other. It's very easily articulated, very well written out in very simple language, so that there's no confusion, no miscommunication. Everyone's digital signatures on there, and we all know kind of what to expect from each other. We can all hold each other accountable, right? Shouldn't be any confusion about that. Um, if you have hesitations, ask for some sort of refund policy, or if the person offers some sort of trial period, even if just for a few weeks or a few days, something so you can get a feel for what it's like to work with them. Just to ensure that you're not locked into something that you can't really use because it ends up not being a good fit for you, or that you potentially, unfortunately, can't afford, right? Because then you're going to be in a really tough bind. Red flag number 5, lack of a personal connection or genuine care from that person. I have been treated like this in the past where I, worked with someone. I won't mention any names out of respect for them, and not to bash anyone, but the only time this person seemed interested in talking to me was when I was paying them, right? So they would do the discovery call with me, then they followed up with me a little bit in the in between, and then, I ended up working with them because I trusted them and I thought they'd do a good job for me. They didn't really deliver on a lot of the things that they told me they would. I didn't get very good results for them. They ended up giving me an entire refund for a couple of the months worth of work that we, excuse me, that we did together. After they refunded my money and we basically terminated the agreement, I thought of them as a friend. So there was one time where I can't remember the specific question, but I had a very minor question about them regarding, or question for them regarding my business. Texted it to them. It probably would have taken them a minute to answer, right? And it wasn't some like intricate question like, "Hey, I'm trying to make an extra $3,000 this month. Can you give me some sort of blueprint or some strategies on how I can do that?" Right? No, that's a whole different conversation. You need to pay for that type of advice, right? But very simple question. They texted back, "Hey, if you have questions like this, since we're no longer working together, long story short, basically they asked for some sort of payment, right? So the only time they wanted to talk to me again was when I was paying them. So they weren't willing to answer any sort of even the simplest questions to help me in my personal life or my professional life unless I was paying them. And notice this too. So there are a lot of people out there, unfortunately, where up until you sign that agreement or you pay an invoice, they're not communicating with you, right? So if you have a quick question about, "Hey, how does this work?" And "I had a question, you mentioned this in the proposal, I didn't really understand this or that. I heard about this. Can you give me just take a quick minute to answer this?" And if you never get a response, but magically, if and when you sign that agreement or you pay that invoice, now they're responsive all of a sudden. Or as you're working with them, if you notice, a lot of agencies do this. It's just a pattern I've noticed. They'll talk to you a bunch when you've just paid your invoice, right? But then towards the end of that month, like as the next payment is due, you'll notice that the communication starts dropping off. They take more and more time to respond to your questions. And then boom, if you pay that next invoice, oh look here we come back, rise back from the grave, so to speak, and start talking to you again. Or some sort of similar pattern like that. So definitely look out for that. It's absolutely a red flag because any legitimate coach, business professional, consultant, they should genuinely be interested in your growth and your success. They should be tailoring their advice to your specific needs, and they should actually care and be a person, right? An actual human. So how to protect yourself is ask them questions such as, how they've helped people in similar situations or industries. What is their policy on communication, right? And like responding to you when you have questions, etc. Look for a coach who actually takes the time to understand your goals and challenges and values communication. I know I do. Those are big like core values of me, especially communication. Number 6, negative reviews or, again, a lack of social proof. What to look out for. Coaches with little to no online presence or reviews. If they're not really on LinkedIn, why aren't you, right? Why do you only have a few followers here and your, Facebook page, you barely ever post anything, and then you don't have a X or Twitter. You don't seem to be really doing much online, right? Why don't you ever post any of your reviews? Why aren't you? So easy thing with me, if you look at my Thumbtack profile, right, that's a big one for me. I have over, I think I have like 75 reviews now, and I've only been on Thumbtack at the time of this live training for about a year now. I think I joined late last April. It was a few months after I launched my business. 75 reviews. I have like one of them was a 3-star review. I think one or two of them was a 4-star review, and then all of the other ones were 5-star reviews. Very nice glowing reviews, very positive. A lot of people have a lot of nice things to say about me. If you ask me for some reviews, I can easily point to that. I can point to my Google My Business page, which I think has 20 or 30, 5-star reviews. I can show you my LinkedIn profile where I'm very active. I have a ton of connections on there. I post a lot of content on there. I interact with a lot of people on there. I post my client testimonials on there. Same thing with Facebook. I have this private community. So if you Google me, right, you can easily see like my Medium blog profile, which has a decent following. You've seen some of my old blog posts. You see my LinkedIn, my Thumbtack, etc., etc. There's a ton of content you can find out about me. Interviews I've done, podcast interviews, collaboration sessions, virtual summits I've spoken at. One of the best-selling books that I co-authored a while ago. There's a lot you can find out about me to learn about me and see what I'm all about. Any reputable coach, it should absolutely be a red flag if they don't really have much of an online presence or don't really have any social proof or positive reviews or testimonials that can actually back up their work that they can show you. You can easily protect yourself by just looking, doing your own due diligence. Look for some independent reviews or testimonials, again, from multiple sources, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, their website, Google My Business, if they're on Thumbtack. Just Google their name, right? Google their business name and see what pops up. Cross-check their social media profiles, their business websites, other platforms, so that you yourself can verify their credibility and go with your gut on what you're seeing. Red flag number 7, again, any sort of lack of ongoing support or resources. Absolutely look out for coaches who offer little to no follow-up support after those initial sessions or training or curriculum is over. They should have some sort of continuation program, or at the very least, you should be able to still get value after you're done paying them somehow. Even something as simple as, like with a lot of my clients, I tell them to join Entrepreneur's Element if they have a business, right? It's a free group. Long after they're done working with us, they can get access to these live trainings, resources, case studies, different things that we post in here. It's all free. They can still connect with me that way without me taking up too much of their time, and vice versa. We can still try to offer value to each other, and they can collaborate with other entrepreneurs in the group. Again, it's free, right? They have nothing to lose, and it's my way to try to keep offering value to them. So it's a red flag because a true mentor should always be able to provide ongoing support, or at least want to, and try to figure out a creative way to do that. They should at least be able to give you some sort of resources that you can hang on to, so that you can keep growing long after they're done working with you. Always ask about follow-up support, community access, or any additional resources you'd like to receive from them to help you implement what you've learned. Now, we've talked a lot about how to spot a scammer or fraudulent coach and how to protect yourself. I want to take just a quick moment to try to help y'all figure out some ways on how to find a legitimate coach or mentor. A few of the qualities I always look out for, and always try to be keen on finding, is I want someone who has clear communication, values communication, is open and honest, very transparent, and seems to have a genuine interest in helping me succeed. I want to see consistent positive reviews. I'm going to do independent research on them. I'm going to try to find some sort of track record or social proof that proves they're actually good at what they're telling me they're good at. I'm going to probably ask them for references or a portfolio or client video testimonials, etc. Documented things, or even human beings that they've worked with that I know I can easily email or message on LinkedIn or call if I need to, or text and say, hey, I'm thinking about working with this person. They told me you worked with them 6 months ago or a year ago, what have you. What were your experiences like, right? And I don't want to just talk to their friends or family members or etc. I want to talk to an anonymous person, an anonymous third-party person that doesn't have anything to gain or doesn't have some sort of pre-existing close relationship with this person, because I want an honest opinion. I want constructive criticism. I want to hear what they really think. I want them to be transparent. I don't want to talk to the person's best friend or their sister or cousin or what have you, right? Because it'd be kind of hard for them to be unbiased and tell me the truth about what it was like to work with this person, right? So I look for stuff like that. I want to know what type of ongoing support and resources they offer as well to help me continue on my path of development. So how to vet potential coaches: take your time, research their background, their qualifications, look at reviews, Google them. Such a simple thing. Google them. Look at their website. Look everywhere online that you can think of. Check out their content. Ask for personal, professional referrals. Ask for some testimonials from their previous clients, a portfolio. Schedule an actual discovery call, maybe a follow-up call after that discovery call is done too. to ask thoughtful questions, gauge that fit, make sure it's a good fit for everyone. So these are some of the things that I wanted to share with y'all because, again, it's very near and dear to my heart. I never want to see anybody getting taken advantage of, or lied to, or again, just being manipulated in any sort of way, and you know, suffering in their personal life and their own business. So trust your instincts. Take the time to thoroughly vet these types of business professionals, marketing consultants, etc., coaches and consultants, mentors. Please comment below with any questions you may have. Feel free to share your own experiences or concerns that you have about working with, various business mentors or potential scammers, fraudulent coaches, etc. I encourage all of you to be diligent and cautious and proactive when you're selecting your next business mentor or coach or just business professional to collaborate with. And would love to work with you guys, as well. If you need any ghostwriting help, if you need, any type of consulting or marketing help in your business, any ideas that you want to bounce off of me or use me as a sounding board, would love to, learn more about you and potentially help. Feel free to DM me. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully this session was very helpful for you. Hopefully it'll keep you all, protected and safe, because it's a crazy world out there. It's hard to do business sometimes with people when you don't know much about them. So one of the other things that I would suggest before I hop off is look through your own personal network, ask for recommendations or referrals to people that, one of your coworkers might know or whatever, who works as a business mentor and who's legit and trusted or what have you. So look through your personal network and get referrals that way to the types of people you want to network with and get help from and mentorship from, because you'll probably have a much better success rate of finding good people that have the same values as you if you're going through people you already know, right? Instead of finding, again, a stranger on the internet, so to speak, right? So try to leverage that first before you start going the cold outreach method of finding a business mentor. Thanks, everyone. And again, I'm Brian Kurian with Brian Kurian's Business Services. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you guys' time, and good luck out there. Peace.